Alright, this video is about slope. So to demonstrate slope, I'm going to do a little bit of review here. So what I've got is my grid, since slope is about lines on a grid. I've also got my assistant. His name is Buddy. He likes to ski. Notice he's facing to the right. When you look at slope, it's just like reading a book. You go from left to right. So I'm going to show 4 different types of lines. Each type of line will be one of these types of slopes. It'll be either positive, it'll be negative, it'll be 0, or undefined. So you gotta figure out which one's which. So first off, if I have a line like this, here's the line I graphed, what type of slope is that? Positive, negative, 0, or undefined? Well, again, Buddy's gonna ski from left to right. So he follows this line. It goes like this. Notice that he's falling over time. Do that again. He's falling from left to right. This would be a negative slope. Let's try a different one. So what about a line like this? Again, not totally straight, but I'm doing the best I can. Would that be a positive, negative, 0, or undefined slope? Well, if Buddy skis this slope, well, he's not really skiing much, is he? He's going to be more pushing the sticks to move himself across. Also known as cross-country skiing, he's going flat. There's really no change. Keep in mind, there's no change up and down as he goes from left to right. So it's a flat slope. That slope is 0. We'll do one more. How about this one here? So notice from left to right, like I'm reading a book, he has to go uphill. Now if he's skiing this, that's going to be no fun. From left to right he goes up. It's no fun to ski. He can do it by pushing the sticks, but it is what it is. This would be a positive slope, because from left to right, he's going up. So of course we have one more to look at, that being the undefined slope. So here's an example of that. Vertical line. A vertical line would be an undefined slope. Why, do you ask? Well, let's say Buddy's up here. You can see his feet. He tries to ski this slope. What happens? He just falls and dies. That's pretty much it. Let's try it again. He's up here, he tries to ski off, and falls and dies. There's really no slope here to ski. It's just a cliff. So he does it one more time. You know, he's doing it again. He really shouldn't. He's already fell twice. He's going to try it again, and look what happens. Again, he falls and dies. So, when you ski this slope, you just fall and die. So I'm not going to draw the blood and gore, but just know that he didn't have a really nice time at the end. That would be an undefined slope. So again, undefined slopes, it's not really a slope at all, it's more of a wall. Think about that as a wall. These two, being 0 and undefined, are often confused for each other. 0 is a flat slope. You can walk a 0 slope, it's just flat ground. You can't walk an undefined slope. You just fall off the wall and die, just like Buddy here. Sorry, Buddy. Let's move on. So I've shown you different types of slopes, that being positive, negative, 0, or undefined. So now if I give you a line, how would you find that slope? Well, let's give you 2 points. I'm going to put a point right here, and then I'm going to put a point right there. So those are my 2 points. I'm going to then do my best to try and connect these to draw a line. If you're a neat freak, I'm sorry, this may not look very nice. I'm going to give it my best shot. You know what? This could be worse. So here's my line. So I have these 2 points on the line. I want to find the slope. And again, pick 2 points that are exactly on the line. I wouldn't pick like this spot, for example, because that's not really an exact coordinate point. You don't want to use decimals if you don't have to. Anyways, what I'm going to do is figure out how far I go across, and how far I go up or down. Because slope, again, Algebra 1 review, it's rise over run. So in this case, rise is the So rise is the change in y. So y2 minus y1 over a change in x. x2 minus x1. So from this point here to this point there, what happened? Well, I went across 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to label this 4. That's my run. And then my rise, I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my rise was 7. So I should have gone up first, then over, but still you see I went up 7 over 4. So my slope then is just going to be 7 over 4. Make sure with fractions you reduce as much as possible. This one is reduced as much as possible. Improper fractions are fine. You don't need to make this 1 3/4. 7/4 is your slope. So that tells me I go up 7 and RT for right 4. And this one here should always be right, never left. Again, when you look at slope, like a book, read from left to right. Let's do one more of these. So here's the next line. Right away what I've done is I've labeled 2 points that are on exact coordinate grids. Again, I don't want to pick a point like that, because that's going to be like -3.5 and then, I don't know, like 7.5. I could do that, but I don't want to use decimals and I don't have to. So I've got 2 exact points. This one over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. Again, with points is x, then y. This point over here will be -2, because I go left 2, and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going from -2, 6 to 6, 0. So what's the slope of this line? Well, again, I'm going to kind of draw this triangle. I'm going to change colors so it doesn't blend with the axis. So here is a little triangle describing the movements I make. So it's rise over run. So my rise's time is actually a fall, not a rise, which means it's going to be a negative. So I'm going from y being 6 to y being 0. I've gone down 6 spots. So I'm going to put a -6 here instead of +6. So if you're going up, it's positive, down it's negative. Now the other one, the run. I go from -2 to 6. That's a difference of 8. I'm moving 8 spaces across. So again, rise over run. So this one's going to be -6 over 8. That's my slope. Is that the best answer? Well, of course not. I can reduce that fraction. So my actual slope is going to be -3/4. I mean, yeah, -6/8 is your slope, but -3/4 is your most reduced answer. Smaller numbers are easier to work with. You want to reduce that fraction as much as possible. So the slope of this line over here, this line orange, is -3/4. So that's how you find slope on a graph given a line. What if I just gave you 2 points and didn't give you a graph? Let's look at that. Okay, so now instead of giving you a line, I've given you just 2 points. I want you to find the slope of that line that has those 2 points. Well, first off, you could just graph these points if you really wanted to. -2, 4 would be right there. And then 4, 2 over 4 up 2 would be right here. You could just draw a line between those 2 points and then find the slope. But sometimes you don't have graph paper. Sometimes you don't want to draw it out. You can do it faster. So there's also a formula to find the slope. And again, from Algebra 1, you've seen it before. The slope formula looks like this. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So basically that's still rise over run, but I'm just defining it algebraically. So how do my y's change? Again, y is up and down. So how does it change up and down? And then how does it change left and right with the run? So this is a formula. Make sure it's in your notes. This whole thing probably should be, but at least have that. So here's what happens. This is x1, because it's the first x. This is y1, again, first y. This is x2, second x. This is y2, second y. So what I'm going to do is just follow that formula exactly as you see it. So y2 minus y1. So that's 2, and then minus negative 2. I'm sorry, that's not correct. My y1 is 4, not negative 2. Don't make the mistake. So it's 2 minus 4, and that's over x2, which is 4, and then minus x1, which is negative 2. So I've taken this formula, applied it down here with my points. First x, first y, second x, second y. So when I do this, 2 minus 4, that is negative 2. And then when I have 4 minus negative 2, that becomes 4 plus 2, right? Double negative. So that's 6. So my slope is negative 2/6. Not done though, because I can reduce that to negative 1/3. So if you don't want to draw lines out and just use the points, you can find slope this way as well. Let's look at one more of these and we'll move on. Okay, this time I gave you the points 7,1 and 7,5. I want you to find the slope of this line. I want you to do this on your own, and then look ahead in the video and see what the answer is. So right now, go ahead and pause the video, try on your own, and then see me work it out. Seriously, go ahead. Pause it. Pause the video. Try it yourself. So if you did it yourself, you should have this. x1, y1 labeled, x2, y2 labeled. So y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. Then reduce that fraction. Or I mean, do the subtraction to get your fraction. I have 4 over 0. So what does that mean again? Can I divide by 0? Well, no, you can't. Try yourself in your calculator. Do 4 divided by 0. It's going to tell you error. It's going to yell at you. It's going to say you're a bad person for doing that. So anyways, 4 divided by 0, that is not 0. That is undefined. Right? You cannot divide by 0. When you divide by 0, your slope is undefined. If 0 is on top, then your slope is 0. Let's move on to 2 more examples, a different type of way to find slope. Then this video is over. Okay, this time we are still finding slope, but instead of being given 2 points or being given a graph, now we're given an equation. So the equation right here. Find the slope of this line. So this is going to be a review from Algebra 1. I say that a lot in these first 2 chapters, by the way. I know I do. Sorry. So y equals mx plus b. That is the equation of a line. M standing for slope, and b for the y-intercept. So that's y-intercept. That's what INT stands for. So here, in this equation, I gotta get y all by itself. So what do you see here? I have 3 times y. So I'm just going to divide everything by 3. Now, last chapter I made an entire line and divided it all by 3. However, what you're really doing is dividing each part by 3, so I'm going to leave it like this. This might make it easier. I'm dividing everything by 3. So what I'm left with is y equals 4/3 x minus 2. I'm going to leave it like 4/3 x.
I'm not going to make that 1 1/3 or 1.33333333. I'm just going to leave it as 4/3. Why? Because the number in front of the x in this equation that graphs a line is your slope. So now that I've gotten y by itself, my slope is 4/3. So if I had 2 points, let's say I have a point down here. What that means is I go up 4, so up 4, and then I go, there's my point, I go right 3. So up 4 and right 3, so this is my line. Again, it's a positive 4/3 slope, which means I'm going up. So from that equation, I found that slope. Let's do one more, then we'll be all set. Okay, this time, here is my equation. Negative 2y minus 4x equals 2x minus 10. So I want to get my equation in this form. Y equals mx plus b. So remember in chapter 1 we solved equations for one letter? Why did we do that? Why did we do that? Get it? Because of this y. We want to get y by itself when we graph equations, but I have y's and x's. So I'm going to get y by itself in terms of the x's. So my first step, I'm going to add that 4x to the other side. So I want the y, negative 2y alone. So I have negative 2y equals 2x plus 4x, 6x, and now minus 10. So that is my equation. I'm not quite here yet, but I'm getting close. So now I'm going to divide everything by negative 2. It's negative 2 times y. So divide everything by negative 2. So now I have just y by itself, and that equals a negative 3x plus 5. So that's the equation I got when y is by itself. But I want to find the slope. Again, don't forget to read the question. So find the slope of this line. That's going to be the number in front of x. That m stands for slope. Why does m stand for slope? I have absolutely no idea. It's just how I've always seen it. I think someone just picked m one day. There's probably a reason for it. I just can't give it to you. Tell you what, look up the reason why m stands for slope. Tell it to me in class. I'll give you extra credit. It's the first person to do it. And again, b is the y-intercept. We'll do more of that graphing in class. For now, just find the slope. The slope is negative 3. Or you can say that as negative 3 over 1. So if I were to graph that, so I'm just going to, sorry, I got cut off there. I'm just going to insert this grid right here. And look at Buddy, he's back. Back from the dead. But I'll put him over here for now. Actually, it's his twin brother. He's going to take his place. So the slope is negative 3. So let's say I have a point right there. The slope is negative 3 over 1. So that means I'm going down 3 and right 1. Again, always right 1. You always go from left to right like you're reading a book. So from this point here, right there, I'm going to go down 3, right 1. There's another point. I can do it again. Down 3, right 1. There's another point. So if I was on pencil and paper, I would take a ruler and connect this, make it look pretty nice and neat. I have an iPad stylus, so I do my best. So that's my line. So Buddy's twin brother goes to ski the slope, and look at that. I've got a little problem here. Whatever. Anyways, he'd be going this way, right? Negative slope. Down 3 over 1, the slope is negative. Therefore, this should be going down. Look at him go. Alright, so that's it for slope. That's the video here. We only had one casualty in this video. I'll consider that a victory. See, look at his twin brother still going pretty well. Anyways, like I said, that's it. In class, we'll actually be graphing lines. So, Algebra 1 review, but still, we're going to go a little bit further than you went in Algebra 1. That's all for now. We're right at 20 minutes. Peace.